Well, good morning. We are here for working with a seller part two, and we're also going to cover some of module 17, which is grow yourself, grow your business. So let's start out and just talk about some successes for the week. How is it going adding people to your database? Are you able to get some new names in there and new contacts?
Yes, I've added quite a few this last week, I would say. About 4. So
how did you do that? Tell us how you were able to do that.
So one of them was basically through Nextdoor app, Peter Simon. I got all of his details together and I sent him some dates and deadlines, information and whatnot, and got responses. So I got more of his details. So I entered him in my database. And then I also was looking through my other old database and saw some old names. So I did a pop-by gift and they responded. And so I added them in, just kind of going through and re-verifying the names I already had in my other database that I've been slowly importing into the vault, and just kind of qualifying or looking through who I think I should follow up with or put another interest pass into.
So you mentioned that you went to a client barbecue this week. Were you able to get some new contacts with that?
Not yet. I've gotten names. I'm waiting for them to reach out to me. So I didn't want to be the obnoxious realtor at the party. Like, what's your email? What's your phone number? You know, like getting into their business like that. But I definitely gave them my card. So, and I know when they were bragging about me giving them the lower to mow the lawn and this and that, they were highlighting me quite a bit to their friends.
Nice.
So I don't think I had to be pushy like that. I think it will come back, hopefully.
Well, and I know that's not your style, that you're the indirect, you keep reminding them who you are. So nice.
Yes.
Nice. How about you, Ray?
I had some good conversations with some people for 4th of July, but I also drank a lot of beer, so I didn't
You didn't take it all down.
I didn't take it all down, but it does seem like even the people I haven't seen in a long time, I need to add them to my database, but they are all aware of what I do, like via social media and all that stuff. So the reputation is getting out there. It was nice to tell my success stories, to them. So I'm not just sitting around doing nothing, but I didn't actually add anybody, but I had some good conversations with some people. Almost everybody was like, how's the real estate business going? They brought it up first. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
This week I've been working to try to add people also. And what I found is, even though I'm not quite able to add some people to the full marketing plan, I'm putting them in as businesses and making some new contacts. But what I really notice is when you send that personal note to somebody, that they really remember. And I'll give you a couple examples. So the eyeglasses place that I go to, I found a new place. I sent her a personal note. She was awesome. And then when I called in to set up an appointment, it was, thanks for the note. We sent a note to the repairman at the RV place, the lady that is in charge of the service there, sent her a note. We got extra good service. I'm telling you, it's amazing. I get so many thank yous for the notes. Thank you for the thank you. It's just amazing. So the power of the note, I think, is more than people really even imagine it is before getting started. So what about just your week, and I know we just had a holiday, but was there anything that really stood out to you that that you will share with the group?
Well, after
what way?
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Ray. It's all good.
Oh, no, go ahead. I just didn't understand what you're saying.
So I was just going to say that for my week, that stood out for me was watching that Buffini listing presentation video and realizing there's a lot more homework to be done as listing agents than I realized. I've been gracious to be in a busy market. I think you've benefited as well, Ray, where we're talking just a few weeks and we've got contract offers. But the things that he was mentioning, like going back behind and talking to the buyer's agents and really following up with people and trying to get personal feedback, not just questionnaire feedback from showing time, and really promoting that person's home. I think I need to take a few more notes on, that was the thing that I was reflecting on, because I just done my listing presentation for the couple up in Kittredge, and I'm waiting to see if they're going to hire me. They're my follow-up call this afternoon at 2 to see where they're at, because they should be back in town now and settled. So just reflecting on all of that and thinking about those points and realizing, there is a lot more to be done than just, putting it in the MLS and having showings. Like there's a little more networking, but our market is still pretty hot, but at the same time, doing an open house and trying to do some extra things to try to get activity is a good thing, I think. But
well, and I say thank you for that, because it is really true. A lot of what we've been dealing with over the past few years, or really the past couple years, when it's been so hot that we have the competing offers and there hasn't been a real great need for marketing, and a seller is panicked if it doesn't sell the first weekend, things that are very different than what we're talking about in this module. But I like it that you recognize that, because we are moving to a more service-oriented seller representation, because we have been able to sell without much service. Isn't that right? Yeah, you get the listing, you get it sold, and there's not a lot of in between. So good comment there. How about you, Ray?
Yeah, so I mean, it was great to watch all that. I've been dealing with my friends. These are my friends that the house that got listed, and I really liked watching how Brian sort of dealt with the emotions. That's not something I wish I had watched this video beforehand, because I think I would have had a more easier way. I honestly didn't take anything personally. I understand, like, it's their house, but I suggested some tasks to do to make sure the house was presentable. I was like, you just don't want to give anyone any excuses to walk away from this house. And while your house is in great shape, here's the things that I would suggest you do. And it was a lot of work for them. And they had to get ready to, they've been in the house for 10 years. There's a lot of clutter and stuff like that. So they were decluttering a little bit. But there was one day when I walked in and Cindy was like, "You're just my realtor today. You're not my friend." And I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. But I think, when he's like, a $10 bucket of paint is worth $1,000 on the wall. Now, I didn't have an eloquent way to say that, except that, hey, we just don't want to give them an excuse to walk away. Like, you don't know, they may not put it into words why they walk away from the house, but I've walked into houses with my cousins just recently, and they were like, "There's no room over here." And I was like, I would have asked the seller to, like, get all that stuff on the pantry that's on the floor off the floor and make it look open, like there was tons of space.
Yeah.
So there was so many emotions flying. It was good to see in that video what, recreated or not, like that's the reality. And I wish I had watched that beforehand, but it's all a learning experience for me. I dealt with it in my own way, but it was nice to see it on how he dealt with it with all that experience above me. So
good comments. Thanks for that. I like that you mentioned the $10 can is $1,000 on the wall. I thought that was a good one. That's true though. If it needs paint, it's a lot more than the paint. They're price. That's very true. And then just basically the way that he does his listing appointment, and he's engaged and he keeps asking questions and he keeps them interested and he's enthusiastic. I thought that was it was just really good the way that he went through that, even though clearly these people are not the real seller, because they were also the buyer.
Right.
Like, we're getting used to these actors, but they do a pretty good job, and I think that he really does really break it down, the whole listing appointment, really great. So showing them the price information quickly and upbeat and confident, right? That's what they want to know, right? The price. And then explaining how it works. I did like his marketing plan that he has. And this is even more than a marketing plan, though. It's almost like a guide, the process for a seller. It's more than just a marketing plan, because the marketing plan also tells you all the things you're going to do. But this is really the whole process. So that was a good piece, I thought. And then what do you think about putting them in the buyer's shoes?
I think that's brilliant. I wish I had done that a couple times when the emotions were running high, and and I didn't use those exact words, but I had my own little way of saying it. It was really nice how I said, because it's really easy to turn it around. But let me ask you, if you saw this in a house, would that turn you off if you were the buyer? You know, because I think it would turn me off. You know, and they're like, it's my house is in great shape, but I was like, just step back from it and just look at it from a buyer's point of view. Like when
Yeah.
you're going to go look at houses in Florida, would this turn you off on the house, or would you be like, oh, I don't care. I'm sure it's fine, you know? So that's, I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, I definitely need to do that. I mean, again, I'm brand new to this, as you know.
Oh, sure.
So this is only my second listing. And the first one just kind of went really without a hitch for the most part. And I just, it's all, I'm learning. As you know, I'm a sponge. So I'm learning every day, and I know exactly where I need to work on it. It was good to see some of the stuff that he talked about in the videos, because I was like, oh yeah, I could have done that better. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's totally a better way to approach that than I did. I love that.
Well, and we're always able to learn. There's never a
Yeah.
point where we can't take a couple of nuggets, no matter what level we're
Yeah.
at. And I would say that, I mean, both of you have had the opportunity to get out there and list properties, and you're both new and you're doing great. And so this really helps you to identify where you can be better, where you can be polished, and where you might have some better techniques.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it too. And you know, even my 35 years in the business, I always get the little nugget here and there. And one of the things I noticed when he said, you know, so if you don't explain your marketing plan, the seller's going to tell you what to do. But they do too. And different generational. I mean, when you have it all down and you're explaining exactly how it's going to work, and you've got a process and a system, it gives them confidence. You don't, then they start picking apart everything that you do. And I've had sellers that wanted to rewrite my whole brochure, and you know, just step by step. And even a recent seller, it was a very step by step, tell us what to do type of person. So having that plan is really good to fall back on too, even if you do have somebody that's trying to control the situation. So
I also love, Heidi, I know you're going to bring it up, but when they had to do a price reduction, how to deal with that. And he's like, even us veterans sometimes, you know, get the price wrong. And I know you had that experience just recently as well, where you had to lower your price on a house. And I'm just like, to me as the new guy, I'm like, I bet Heidi gets it right all the time. You know what I mean? Like she's a master, but you know, we can all get to that point, I guess, you know?
there's a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
10 showings and no offers, or 10 days and no showings, you have a price problem.
Yeah.
And that's in any market. Yeah, I mean, but it's funny, you know, how he talks. You know, the market is a normal market is 4 to 5 months worth of inventory, right? And we have like less than a month, so it's just not normal. But you will get the price reduction, or I like to say price improvement conversation. You'll get that, and you'll get that weekly check-in dialogue too, because. And I learned early on in my career, it was one of my first listings when nothing had happened and I hadn't followed up. And the client told me, you know, really, we'd really love to hear from you, even if nothing's happened. Now, that was a really nice client that told me that. And I learned and I adjusted, and they were my clients, and I did many deals. In fact, Janet Jackson, who was on our team until she kind of semi-retired, it was actually her daughter-in-law that told me that so many years ago. So that weekly check-in is important. And also it said there, you know, once a month, adjust the price, but really about every couple of weeks to look at the CMA, see what's sold, see what hasn't, and see.
And I was going to say, in a hot market, that seems a lot more prudent. I mean, if you're going into week 2, or, you know, 15 days of nothing going really on, what's going on with the price then? Because things are moving way faster, or do you think that's false?
No, I think it's true, but you really, with a fast-paced market, like Ray mentioned, the property that we had that was overpriced, we knew the first weekend it was overpriced because we didn't get showings. So so no showings, or 10 days, no show. We knew immediately that it was overpriced. And then within days, it was just like 3 days, we adjusted that price on that, which we actually got in the end higher than the original list price. But it was just the market.
How do you explain that?
Opportunity.
I mean, you've been doing this for years. what's your conversation with your clients on that? I mean, not improving the price, let's call it that, improving the price. But if it's priced right and then you get more interest and then more offers and maybe you can counter each other, or if it's priced wrong and you get nothing, what's your conversation with your client on that? I mean, how do you approach that? Because obviously everybody wants more money. They want to start up here, and you're like, well, the comps show it here, but I think if we go here, like what's your way of caressing that conversation?
Well, I look at what's gone on in the
Yeah.
market, first of all, just to make sure, like if there are other properties that haven't sold and then I might just say we just need a little more time.
Yeah.
But if we're not getting any showings, 10 days, I tell them exactly that. Here's our rule of thumb: 10 days and no showings, or 10 showings and no offers, we have a pricing issue.
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
need to adjust it.
But I mean, initially though, if you know that they want, let's say it's a really a $450 house, and like, I want to put it up for 525. Yeah, how do you approach
right.
that? Yeah.
Well, no, I would say, that obviously we'd love to be able to just command the
Yeah.
price, but the market tells us what the price should be.
Yeah, yeah.
And the market tells us that your price should be right in here.
Yeah.
And typically, if I would get out the pricing pyramid, I
Yeah.
say, if we overprice, we're limiting to about 10% of the buyers.
Oh, I always forget about that pricing pyramid. That's such a great tool.
It really is a great
Yeah.
tool. Yeah.
Pricing
Yeah.
tool what is this? No?
The pricing pyramid, let me see if I
Oh,
can
the
share
pricing.
with you.
You've shown me that before, and I've Googled that before. I just had
Okay, I'm
forgotten.
going to share this here. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the pricing pyramid that I've been using in the last few days, because we've actually people right now, the market's changed a little bit, and we're having this conversation with people because we want them to be at market. We want them to either be at right below or right at market, but not above, to get the most competitive offers. So, and I'm happy to share this. You can always just go into Google and pick up that pricing pyramid, the real estate pricing pyramid. There's a bunch of different ones, but it's just a really great visual to have that conversation, because you can't get competing offers if you limit yourself to 1 out of every 10 buyers.
Right. Or you're only going to get 2 offers because you're already out of the realm. Mhm.
I'll tell you a story. I mean, I know the market's changing. So we had a buyer. There was a weekend before the 4th of July, and on Friday we had 5 properties that we were looking at, and we were getting together with this client over the weekend. So they were looking at properties that were listed, prior. So there were 5 that they were really interested in, and we were showing them on Tuesday. And it was amazing that 4 out of those 5 properties were still available. After
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what you were meant.
Yeah. And so they made an offer. So this was really cool. So we met them over the weekend. It was a referral. It was a great referral from somebody that we pop by all the time. Actually, we're having dinner with their parents tonight. So they gave us the referral. Then we had 1 day of showing. They made 1 offer and they got the contract, only $1,000 above list price at $650. And there was only 1 other offer that wasn't as strong. So, and it's their dream home. So I mean, that is a little different than what we've seen. So hopefully you'll be able to reach out to some of your buyers. Maybe we'll get some more inventory and a little bit more opportunity to have them succeed. Yeah. Well, so when's your next listing appointment? Do you know yet?
Oh, for mine?
Yeah.
I'm hoping here pretty soon. I was gonna do a rehatch with Aaron and his wife on Thursday last week, but they called me saying they weren't feeling very good and they could mask up if I wanted to come over. And I said, we got the 4th of July weekend coming up. Let's just push it for this week. So I'm gonna rehatch the fires with them and see if I can't get them moving more in direction of actually looking at some lots and land and figuring out what their real game plan is going to be.
Do you feel more comfortable with after the seller's module? Good.
Yes, because I feel like I was already following a lot of good advice from you about putting together the packet and having the little envelope with all the information and your comparables and the mini report and all the things. And then I also pulled a clue report from title and also their deed of trust and their warranty deed. So I gave them copies of everything
Nice, very
current
thorough.
and had it all in there for them. Yes. So,
Good job.
yeah, I'm hoping it pays off. We'll find out today, hopefully.
Well, that's what it's a numbers game, and it's been paying off for you. So you're doing a great job. We have our listing appointment tonight. And we know for sure that they want too much money. So that should be interesting. I'll let you know how that goes.
We got to show them why it's not worth too much money, right? That's
Yeah.
fun.
But right
Market.
now, there's 3 different listings we're competing for.
Ah,
So yeah, but we're working hard to get them. And I think that there's some great tools in here. The listing appointment role play video is good. I'm good to go through again. Hopefully we won't need that price improvement dialogue, too soon. And then the listing packet, I think, he sort of had an outline of stuff to put in there. And the most important thing though, is really the conversation and that role play, because when people really feel you care, you're asking good questions, you're listening and helping them to visualize, their goals coming to fruition. That I think is the most important part of the listing presentation. If you show up with all of the goods and you have a real shiny package, but you don't make them feel confident and comfortable, they're still not going to get it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, let's talk about 17. Now, I know you didn't get a chance to watch this video before this morning. Have you had a chance to watch 17 yet?
I watched
I
it.
started it.
Okay.
I paused it before our class, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good. I listened to, I'm going to go back and listen again, though. I just wanted
that's a
to,
good first growth one.
talking about a couple of these things, growing yourself and growing your business. I think it's so true. That you have to endorse yourself and feeling confident. And of course your scripts and things really help with that. But did you notice any of the books on his reading list? You have any of these?
I didn't actually look at that list, but I know he was talking about Stephen Covey's 7 Habits. I've read that
Yeah.
before. Yeah, that's good.
That one's a good one. One of the things, so Think and Grow Rich. I mean, that one is pretty obvious, Nightingale. But some of these others, The Compound Effect is really good by Darren Hardy. That's one that I've read that I thought was really excellent, because you do so much and you don't see the results, but you don't see the compound effect where you're building it and it's coming, and then it can come in a big way. One of them that I don't see on his list is the Kaizen Small Steps that Make a Big Difference. That's The Kaizen Way is an excellent book too. So, and I got that one from Buffini as well. Acres of Diamonds, that one's a good one. Have you listened to the podcast on that one?
No.
So I love his list of podcasts, the top 10. It's a great resource there. And I think I've listened to almost all of these. I'm definitely going to go back and listen to a couple of them. I noticed our homework this time to read the 10 Ancient Scrolls for Success was like a daily activity here. Download the 10 Ancient Scrolls and read every day.
I love all of those ideas. I've always been a advocate of reading those kinds of books to better myself. And so
Awesome.
it's I'll definitely take a look at some of these for sure.
Well, so you like, you sharpen the saw, and that's, it's an important part. And the people that he looks at, the Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn, I think, is the one that said, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with most. Did you think about that? If you haven't watched the video yet, it tells you that, you're pretty much the person, the 10 people that you hang around with, excluding your immediate family. So you think about, who have I been hanging around with?
Yeah.
Because that's who's influencing you. But I want to talk a little bit more about this one, maybe next time too, because I think it's got some really good concepts in here. Your income is directly related to your philosophy, not the economy. You run into those people, the naysayers in an office when things change and they're like, wham, wham, wham. You know what I'm talking about? And everything's awful and they're not making any money.
I think instinctually, I'm getting older now, you know, I mean, I'm almost 48 for crying out loud. But I've just instinctually not unfriended people, but just sort of cut those people with consistent negative attitudes
Yeah.
out of my
Their
life.
energy
I've
sucks.
just stopped hanging with them. I just can't do it.
Mhm.
I don't tell them they need to change. I just
No.
I can't be around their negativity. It really affects me pretty horribly. So, and I try to do the opposite. I try to stay positive for people as well. And it's a conscious thing because it's really easy in this life to find the negative and just like, you know, whine about it. But I consciously take the positive approach. And if somebody's being negative about something, I just don't go along with it. You know, when I was younger, I'm like, oh yeah, totally. Now I'm like, I don't think so. I think that's the wrong attitude to take. We should just look forward and find something good out of this. You know, that's sort of how I've changed over the years.
That's awesome. That is so positive. You're not a victim. No.
Yeah.
And neither are you, David.
No,
No victim here.
my only time was when I gave the retail industry so many years, because a lot of my bosses and the people above me were that total energy suck, negative. You know, I don't know why I thought, well, that'd be a great way to succeed.
You're
in
right.
life.
Yeah. There's people in
But
life that
there are
like,
really some bad apples out there.
yeah. I see it daily, Heidi and David, that, you know, if I have a success of something, I'm not trying to like bring myself up on a high horse. I'm just excited. And then they try to bring you down like, well, that's good. Those are all your friends and family that you use. What are you going to do now? You know, I'm like, come
Yeah.
on, man. Like, I
Yes,
don't need
and
to be
it's
around you.
because-
You know?
Well, and
Yeah.
you have to also remember when you're hearing that from our circle of lives around us, they're envious that we don't punch a clock.
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling anyway. You
Yeah.
know, that we are not dedicated to a 40-hour this or having to do X, Y, Z, even though we have X, Y, and Z. That's just at our time and when they're needed. But I think that's what I've felt the most from my immediate circle that is changing, because I am aware that you are the company you keep, you know.
Yeah.
And some of those people are just going to have to start making the exit stage, you know. And that's kind of what this weekend was all about for me, was going and reconnecting with good families and good people and making new horizons and not hanging out with the old crowd. So I don't know how to explain that other than to just say it, because it is what it is, you know. But being positive,
that's excellent.
and recognizing that, you know, they're quote my lifelong friends, but like you said, you start talking about your successes and they come up with but yes, you know, but yes, but yes,
You know, and Ray, you mentioned friends and family. It's funny because, you know, friends and family are usually the hardest ones to get business from, because they know you don't have that much experience. Other people don't. So, so next time they say that, just say, you know what? Normally, friends and
Like
family
Brian.
wait. Your first closing wasn't related, you know, but that's just something that you get. Yeah, people, they are right. They're envious when you're doing well. It just is. It's lonely at the top. But as long as you recognize that and you understand and you continue to improve the self, you're being that corporate athlete, right? Yeah. Always working on the self. Did you like that part when he said, think of yourself as a corporate athlete, but that working on yourself double your self growth before you double your net worth, right? Working on yourself will double your net worth.
That's kind of where I feel like I need to turn my focus, since I'm from here and everyone knows me. I have a lot of old stigmas, old walls I have to tear down that people have opinions of me about. So
we
that's
all
kind
have that, I think. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, you moved here from wherever, right, Ray? I've been here.
I've been here for a while. I mean, I went to California briefly, but I've been here since 2006, essentially.
Yeah, like I can still see kids I know from grade school just
Yeah,
out that are the big
I see.
shot astrophysicists now, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all
Right.
these like crazy high-powered families these days. Like at this picnic, I was talking to a Bronco football coach and a kid who just signed with Green Bay Packers, and like,
Nice.
you know what I mean? And I'm just like, wow, you know, why didn't I try to cultivate these relationships more in my, you know? So,
Great.
you know, it's the growing part. You know, I may have missed those boats, but I'll catch the next ones.
Great
So.
attitude. And so what do you think about intake? This,
Mm.
that what do you feed yourself first thing in the morning?
Honestly, coffee.
Yeah, me too. But what's after that?
Then I don't turn on the news. I usually
No.
I try to go and water my garden.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like I have a
Yeah.
very slow drum roll here, okay? But then
So,
once it gets time to business, it's emails. I usually start with emails.
I think I'm gonna have to try that, the first 15, last 15 that he was talking about, because I do like to wake up and watch the news. I didn't watch it this morning because I was watching Buffini videos. But
yeah.
but you know what? I almost never get anything good out of the news. It's sort of a negative. They just
To
news
keep people
stories
in
that
their
you want to watch
bodies.
are about death and COVID and nothing really positive ever on the news when I watch it in the morning. I like to keep
It's like
updated. I think
tear
this is right. It's a good attitude. 15-15. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
have you noticed when
I've
it
gotta
is
work.
something positive, it's always a tearjerker, so it draws up like extreme emotions in both
Yeah.
directions.
Well, I do my Bible study in the morning. I quit. I used to be a faithful news watcher in the morning, and a couple of years ago, I stopped doing that and I started using YouVersion. It's a Bible app, and I do Bible studies in there. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's how I start my day. Now I've got to figure out how to do the last 15 because I usually fall asleep on the couch. So I'm working on that. Right? But and then the books. There's always some really great things to do. And I personally think that we're never done growing. I mean, you're never standing still. You're either going backwards or going forwards, right? We're not standing still. So all of our activities will either take us closer to our goals or further away from them. And I think that growing yourself to grow your business is probably one of the most positive things that we can do. And I almost think that we should start the course with this chapter because it's such a mental, an attitude thing. And there are many times in your career where you'll have ups and downs and you have to do that checkup from the neck up.
Mhm.
And the best thing to do is get around people that are positive. If you're in the office and you've got all these wham people, we don't have a lot of those in our office now, but you run into it.
No, because you know
Get
what?
away from
You know
them.
who's constantly a positive energy in our office is your son.
Aw,
Oh yeah.
that's my
he-
boy.
He really is a positive guy, You can tell he's got stress because of work, obviously, but he's not like, he doesn't let it get the better of him.
Yeah,
So at
most
least
days.
from what I've seen, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I get to go see that grandbaby today.
Yeah, I saw the cute photos.
He's so cute. Well, so do you have any affirmations? I'll tell you one that I have been saying ever since I bought Joe Niego's Instant Inventory. It was a CD set. It's a great. It's a Buffini add-on. It's really great, and I bought that, and we've been listening to it in some of the strategies. And one of the very first things I noticed right off the bat is the affirmation: I create inventory. So we don't necessarily have to rely on the market. We go get it, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
We get the listings. There were three, the strategies are great, and I'll be happy to share those with you, but leveraging your buyers, even if there are some listings available to show, but if you know where a buyer is looking specifically, why not reach out to those neighborhoods?
Now that COVID's
and-
over, yeah, 100.
See if there are some places you might be able to show your buyer and get in the door. And there are some really great strategies for waking up dormant sellers. The past couple of years for sure, they've been nervous about getting out there, and maybe it's time to shake the bushes. Where are they? Let's find those dormant sellers and let them know that it's a great time to make a move, that the market isn't quite as difficult as a buyer, and that's still a really good time to be a seller. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think by the way, the affirmations, it's, he says speak it and write it, and I can't agree with that more. I've been in situations where I'm nervous about like an interview or something, And if I just, even I'm talking to myself and I'm like, Ray, you got this. You're going to go in there, stay positive. If I say it out loud, it's way more powerful to me than in my head. So I'm not talking to myself necessarily. I just say it out loud to like get that energy out of my body and like, we got this. Let's do this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine
That's
is I
great.
just
And
tell
it
'em-
works, right?
It totally works. Yeah.
It totally does. So I like the ancient scrolls, these affirmations, the 10 ancient scrolls for success. They're great. Today I begin a new life. I will greet this day with love in my heart. I will persist until I succeed. I am nature's greatest miracle. I will live this day as if it was my last. Today I will be a master of my emotions. That's a good one. I will laugh at the world. Today I will multiply my value 100-fold. I will act now. I will pray for guidance. And
Yeah.
so our homework is to read those every day. And also, there's a couple of these podcasts I haven't listened to yet. I'm going to go back and listen to these. I want to listen to Ancient Scrolls of Success and see what he says.
I listened to a really good one that was like perfect for me and where my head was at, and it was relating to blue collar work and how to have those conversations and have a true, honest rapport and appreciation for blue collar workers.
I haven't seen it. Was that a Buffini one?
Yeah, it was 284, I believe,
Oh, good.
for
Okay.
the podcast there. And it really, because again, most of the people I know are in that world. It really spoke to me on how you build that common level, that common ground with them, and
Good.
how to have genuine appreciation for them. And they spoke about how a lot of agents miss that boat. And that, it's an important thing, and that he and his family and everybody, it's just a cool podcast. You should check it out. But
Awesome.
but in terms of like that affirmation and creating an energy that is a natural occurring energy, I found that very helpful listening to that podcast.
Well, I wrote it down. I'm going to go back and listen to that. And also, you might add the Kaizen Way to your list here, because one of the really cool things about that book is that it really helps you to train your brain to find the solution, taking little bites instead of, our brain naturally sees a mountain instead of a molehill. So some things are hard to address. Well, a lot of things, whether it's losing weight or making money or whatever it is, if there's something big, the best way to get through it is little bitty pieces at a time. So that book is really, really helpful. And I've used it even with my parents here, being so stressed, being a caretaker and trying to figure out how I can make it better, just little things. Just little systems and little things to take off the pressure. And it's helped, instead of trying to solve the whole big problem, to do little things at a time. Definitely.
Something that
That's like the compound effect too, very much like that.
There's a book that I read called The Slight Edge. I can't remember who wrote it. Have you ever heard of that one?
The Slight
Kind
Edge.
of very similar. It's about finding success, and you have to look up the author. I can't remember. If you tell me, I'll see. It's called The Slight Edge, and it really is just doing little things every day that'll get you ahead. And talking about how people, like, success isn't necessarily maybe you're not the most knowledgeable real estate agent, but your constant work at it every single day will get you there, and you'll be a million times ahead of anyone else because they just give up, and you're like, I'm going to do something every single day to get to this point. And they talk about,
that's right.
Yeah.
What he said, it's attitude, not aptitude, will give you altitude.
Yeah. Great book though, The Slight
Awesome.
Edge. I recommend
Slight Edge, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Another one on this list that I noticed was the One Year Bible. Notice the author is God.
Oh,
Definitely got to read that one.
Yeah.
I'm working on the One Year Bible. I'm actually doing a plan on YouVersion, and it's going to take me 3 years, I think.
I don't know if I ever told you this, Heidi. Sometimes I'm having a bad day. I have a Bible in my I don't read it every day, but I have it in my drawer next to my bed. I'll just randomly open it up and just read something, and it almost always is exactly what I needed to hear. It's totally strange.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
When I was
when
going
I did read
through,
the Bible, I always read the Romans. I like a lot of the Romans.
you like Romans? Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a those truths in that are still true to this day. They just have a different polish to them with the wordage, but
Yeah.
the majority of those lessons are still very true. But anyway,
Well, and really, I mean, Proverbs is pretty much, you know, you look at what the, what was it, The Promise or something was or The Secret. Remember that show, The Secret? Well, read Proverbs. I mean, it's all there, right?
all the traction.
Yeah, it's all there. Well, I hope that you have a wonderful week this week. So what we have coming up, so we covered
16 and 17.
but you're going to have a week to catch up. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to all of 17 yet, we're not going to have a session next week. So our next meeting for module 18 is the 20th, Tuesday, the 20th.
Okay.
And then we'll do module 19 on Thursday, the 22nd, just like normal. So, and then we're actually coming to the end. Our last is the 5th of August. So
Crazy.
we have just a month left and we'll be done. But I can't wait to hear how your transactions and your successes measure up, because just looking at what you've both accomplished during this time, and Joanne and Olivia that are not on right now too, you've done really well. And so far we're beating the numbers for this course. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
That's good.
So this week you have Popeyes to take out. I will get yours over to you, Ray. Do you have
Okay.
anything you're doing right now, David?
Well, I just got done doing all of my 4th of July Popeyes. My Popeye list is not as big as it needs to be, I guess, but I had one negative experience.
Oh,
I got a husband calling me, telling me not to leave the gifts at the door anymore, and that he thought it was creepy and weird that I would just come by with a gift. And I was like, there was nothing that just says happy 4th of July, you know.
Is this somebody that you knew?
Yeah, this is Olivia. I worked with her at the Grocery World for many years. So I don't know, maybe he thought I was trying to do something. I don't know. So I said, sure,
you
no
never
problem.
know. You
I'm
never
happy
know.
to take you off the list. You know, sorry that I offended you, but thanks for letting me know. That way I don't squander resources on unwanted activities. So
Very
no
good.
problem. Take you right off.
Great attitude, because I can tell you that the Popeyes, I would say the Popeyes and the personal notes, I definitely think that they're one of the most effective things that we do.
That's what he also is like. We don't need your notes in the mail either. Just, you know, pretty much leave us alone. So, okay.
Okay, fine. Well, don't want to waste my stamp on you either.
Yeah, right. Like crazy. So, but I have plenty of notes to do this week. All the thank you for talking with me. Thank you for sharing with me. Thank you for inviting me. Thank yous. I've got a bunch of thank you notes to do this week for the weekend. From the
Well, most
weekend.
people love it. And let me tell you one thing, David. So when Michael and I started with our Buffini coach about a month ago, one of the very first things that he said was that we needed to narrow down our database. Not everybody deserves to be in there. And so
Right.
obviously you had somebody that didn't deserve to be in there.
No, and I deleted them already. So
Good for you. That felt good, I'll bet. Delete.
yeah.
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 Well, I hope you have a fantastic next week and a half, and I will see you guys back here on the 20th. I'll actually see you before then, but we'll be
Okay.
back for our next module on the 20th. And hope
Fantastic.
you have a wonderful midsummer. We're right here in the middle of it. Stay cool.
It's going by so quick.
Yeah.
I know.
Gotta
Okay,
get
how are
after
the kids? I mean, they're going back to school soon, right?
Not till, I mean, probably August 20th or something like that. I think it's
Oh.
the actual day. So we got a little time. They're fine. We're having
No, that's
fun.
fun.
Yeah, we got, I told you, we have the cousins living with us. And actually this house they're under contract with, it's like an almost 60-day post occupancy. So they'll be here through September.
Oh, you're going to be having a busy summer.
Yeah.
Did you
I'm
have
fine
a
with
good
it. I'm
Fourth?
fine with it. We got them. It's a beautiful home in Brighton.
That's awesome.
Did
How
you
about
have a
you,
good
David?
4th of July?
Next
Yeah.
couple of weeks?
Yeah, hopefully we'll stay busy, you know. Like I said, I'm gonna call and follow up with Melissa and Greg here and see if I got their business or not, because they were out of town to the 3rd. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna call them on the 4th. And I figured if I didn't hear from them by Monday, then I'll call them today, so.
I hope that goes well
Hopefully-
for you.
I know, hopefully it's not a, oh, no, thanks. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
Well, I've got
It
my 3 to
happens,
follow.
like you
I'm
You
said.
got
working it
this, David.
too.
You got it.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
I
got
hope
it.
so.
Yeah.
I hope
Well-
so, because my strongest suit with them was that I sold the property right below them. So they know I can do it. And then I presented everything, and I just had a few questions, like, because it's not an HOA, but it's a duplex. So like, how do you handle the roofing scenario?
They
Uh,
probably
or
have
the
a common area agreement. Mhm.
Oh, common area agreement. So
Yes.
like when someone so says this or that, we all do it?
Yeah,
Or-
there'll be a written agreement for that.
Okay, common area.
There's no
agreement.
HOA. Yeah, the common area written agreement.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I'll have to ask about that then, because I didn't know anything about that. So that was the other thing I was thinking about, like on homework wise. I should have done more homework on that, but I'm
Don't
hoping.
beat yourself up. You're doing great.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get their business. Otherwise,
That's right.
meanwhile, Robin, Tut, and Brian in my neighborhood over here are gonna go look at property, or they want to go out to Northmore, Massachusetts.
Oh,
And they want to know a realtor out there. So I looked up 3 of them in Remax. There's nobody really right there. So I was going to call them today and see where they're at and then refer them to them and see if we can't
Busy.
start getting the ball passing so that I can actually sell that house for them in the future.
You're the corporate athlete.
Thanks. Trying.
Well, I can't wait to hear how it goes. I hope you have a great week, and
Yes.
hopefully we'll also have a couple new listings too. So
Sounds
Yes.
good.
talk
Thanks.
to you
All
next
right.
week.
Good luck, everyone.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.